Good morning and welcome to this morning's licensing hearing. As Chair of Dorset Council's Licensing Committee, I'm Councillor Emma Parker. Before we start, I just need to go over a few ground rules. This meeting is a public meeting and it will be broadcast live on YouTube. Apart from the three councillors at the hearing, during the meeting, if you can please mute your microphones and turn your cameras off when you are not speaking. Only turn your camera and microphone on when you are invited to speak by the chair. If you have not been introduced before speaking, then please state your name beforehand. After each party has spoken, the chair will go around all parties, starting with the members of the subcommittee to see if they have any questions for the speaker. Please keep all background noise to a minimum and please turn off any mobile phones and alerts that you have on your computer. You will notice that we do have a chat bar. That chat bar is monitored, but it's not monitored by any of the three councillors, and it is purely there if you get into any technical difficulties. So, you know, if you go up, you know, if your screen freezes or or whatever, then if you put that in that bar, then obviously it will be somebody will be alerted to it. Moving forward, I would now like to do some introductions. As I said, my name is Councillor Emma Parker. I'm Chairman of the Licensing Committee and I represent the Puddletown and Lower Winterbourne ward. Councillor Andrews.
My name's Councillor John Andrews. I am representing the Sherborne East ward.
Good morning, I'm Councillor Les Fry and I'm representing Dorchester West ward.
Thank you, councillors. And I would now like the council officers to introduce themselves, starting with the committee clerk.
My name's Helen Whitby and I'm a Democratic Services Officer for Dorset Council.
Thank you very much. And then can we have the legal representative?
Good morning, my name's Lara Autry. I'm a solicitor with Dorset Council.
Thank you. And then can I have the licensing team leader who is introducing the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. It's actually Aileen Powers and I'm the licensing team leader, but it will be Catherine Miller, the licensing officer, who's going to introduce the report.
And if you could introduce yourself, Catherine, please.
I'm Catherine Miller. I'm licensing officer, and as Aileen has just said, I will be introducing the report.
Thank you very much. I would now ask all parties and their representatives in attendance to introduce themselves. So could I start with the applicant, please?
Hello, yeah, my name is Nick Honeybun, and I'm the owner of My Amazing Fantasy in Weymouth.
Thank you. Any persons who have made representation who has completed their notice of attendance and stated that they wish to speak, I will call you by the list supplied of the notices of attendance that were returned. And I have Lucy Hamilton.
Yes, good morning. I'm Councillor Lucy Hamilton, Chair of Planning and Licensing at Weymouth Town Council and member for ward.
Thank you. We will now elect chairman for the meeting. Do I have a proposal from the members of the subcommittee?
Yes, please. It's Councillor Les Fry speaking. I would like to nominate Councillor John Andrews as the chair.
Thank you, and I will second that. So I will now pass over to Councillor Andrews. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members. I will now ask for apologies for absence.
We have no apologies, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Declarations of interest?
None.
None at all. Excellent. The licensing subcommittee procedures, in this case, have been outlined by Councillor Parker at the start of the meeting. So we move on to the application. The application is, a minute, I've got to use two screens. So the licensing subcommittee application is under the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982, and the application is to vary a sex shop licence from My Amazing Fantasy in Weymouth. I will hand over now to Catherine Miller, our licensing officer, for outlining of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. As you've said, it's an application to vary two of the conditions that are attached to the sex shop licence known as My Amazing Fantasy. at 1 Ranley Road, Weymouth, under the Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 1982, Schedule 3. The variation is to amend the following conditions from number 29. The entrance to the premises shall be so designed and constructed as to prevent persons outside the premises having a view of the interior. And number 43, an LCD display unit, no bigger than 23 inches, can be used internally to identify products. And the change is to now say, as requested, that the entrance lobby be arranged as to allow the opening of the front internal door to allow circulation of air and to arrange the internal layout of the premises that will prevent passers-by from seeing licensed products when the door is open. And Mr. Honeybun has attached a plan of the premises, which you can find at Appendix 2. And point 43 is a television screen of any size to be used in the window display to advertise non-sex related articles. There were 2 representations received objecting to these 2 changes. One was from Weymouth Town Council and the other was from a local resident, and their comments can be found at Appendix 2. I'd like to clarify that the application was also to renew the licence, and there were no objections received for the renewal, and therefore the current licence has been renewed and the current set of conditions attached to it. I can also confirm that the application was advertised in accordance with the regulations under the Miscellaneous Provisions Act. The premises has held a sex shop licence at the same location for a number of years and has operated in a responsible manner. As mentioned in my report, there was one complaint received earlier in the year from Weymouth Town Council, which stated that a large television screen was being used in the window. A colleague visited the premises and confirmed that the TV was being used to advertise underwear only and nothing that would fall under the sex shop licence. The matter was rectified following the visit. I'd like to remind members that they may make the following decisions. They can grant the application as is applied for, they can make such variations as they see fit, or refuse the application. And finally, members will need to be reminded that what these conditions are seeking to achieve with regards to the opening of the lobby doors, the condition is there to stop anyone seeing who or what are inside the premises. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Appreciate that. So I'll just ask, are there any points of clarification from the councillors present on the subcommittee?
Not so far. So far,
No.
I'm satisfied.
No? Okay then. So in that case, I'll move on to the applicant. So can I ask Mr. Honeybun if he'd outline his variations, please?
Hello, yeah, thank you for taking the time to listen. So as I understand, it's really the issue with the screens that's the problem. The reason I want the screens is because we spend quite a lot of money on window displays over the years, and I've noticed other shops in Weymouth have started using large screens. So I just want the opportunity to really move forward with the rest of the high street. Really, we waste quite a lot of money replacing the windows, and from an environmental point of view as well, we waste a lot of plastics and papers and printing every time we change it. So having a screen makes this a lot easier for us to manage.
Okay, is that it, Mr. Honeybun?
Well, the other thing maybe is just to sort of let you know, I'm not in the business to shock or scare or worry anyone. I'm not going to use the screens to sort of be displaying anything that I wouldn't want any children or any passers-by to see. So I just want you to, it's purely to be advertising non-sex licensed products, mainly underwear, really. That's about all, unless anyone's got any questions.
Right, thank you very much. So I'll ask my fellow councillors, any questions?
Emma, you go first.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Mr. Honeybun. Can I ask what sort of size of screen are you referring to when you say screen in the window?
Well, we can only really fit anything up to 50 inches anyway because of the size of the windows we have at the moment, so I can't go any bigger. I'm just going on the lead by companies like 3 and Boots, I think Vodafone have one as well in Weymouth, and they have quite large 50-inch screens on their side in a portrait manner. That's the sort of thing I'm thinking of, really.
And when you state on there that obviously it's going to be purely for the show of underwear, and with that in mind, is that actually will that be stuff that you stock to sell?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, just another thing is we currently do this in our other stores, and the way we work it is that I need permission from the licensing officer to change my display anyway. So we just email over our proposed videos or screens or images for you guys to pass or not.
Okay. And I think that's probably it for me from the screen. In regard to the doors, I actually visited the area on Saturday just to get a feel for where the area was, and both doors were propped open at that time. Again, I'm fully aware of what sort of establishment it is. So I was fully aware of what I was looking at. It, being an adult, obviously being a child might have been a bit different, but it wasn't great really to come down there and see that, and obviously and to see what you could see from the road. That's a concern that I have. Because obviously that's prior to this meeting, and another concern I have about both doors being propped open is, not only for the people that are walking by, but obviously for the discretion of the people that are visiting your premises. I mean, how would you get around that?
Again, well, it's something we've done in our other stores. In Salisbury especially, we've opened it right up so everyone can see through the windows and see through the doors. And as I said, the way we have it designed is that all the licensed products are behind the door or behind any other displays. You can't see any licensed products. Very few customers have an issue with it. I think we're moving to a place now where it's not something to be hiding away from, or people are quite proud to come into the shop, and they should rightly be so. We have a couple of customers that might want to come through a back door or be discreet with it, but it's very few and far between, to be honest. And we've had no complaints in the other stores.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Moving on to Les Fry.
Yeah,
Les?
thank you. Councillor Les Fry speaking. The entrance foyer, I'm looking at the diagram here. What are your plans for that? Perhaps you'd like to outline those, Mr. Honeyman?
Well, it's already set out like that anyway, because my concern is, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, and I wouldn't want anyone to see any licensed products anyway, and it's very difficult with that door set up for someone to be, if a child's passing that door when someone's entering or exiting, they can see in any way, regardless. So I've always managed it that the front half of the shop is lingerie, and then the toys are towards the back and behind the door, so you can't see them from the road.
Yeah, I think with a degree of knowledge, when we were looking through the door, we could see, we knew what we were looking at. We were surprised to see the doors open on Saturday morning.
Well, that might be a bit of a misunderstanding then, because I saw when I read the article in the Echo, it was said that the license was granted and there was no issues with the doors. So apologies if I've taken that incorrectly. It's also I've had concerns from my staff and customers because of COVID that they want some airflow in the shop. So that was more my priority, to be honest, at that point. But the article in the Echo said that there was no objections to the doors.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Chair.
All right, thank you very much. So I was there on Saturday as well, and quite clearly you could see, if you knew what you were looking for, in through the doors you could see licensed products, toys, etc. So that was my concern straight away. So, but I understand from your drawing that they're going to be behind some kind of screen that I've seen. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. I mean, again, I can work with you guys if you want me to move something else or you're not happy. I mean, as far as not all our toys are licensed, you see. So some of them, you like massagers, for example, don't come under the license. So that might be what you're seeing. Okay.
Understand that. No, I probably don't understand completely license and unlicensed, you know. So I just sort of asked that. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So all questions asked, councillors?
Thank you.
Yeah. Right, so we'll move on to representations because there's no police or fire services. I don't think they've been called to the premises. So we move on to representations from Weymouth Town Council. Over to you, Lucy.
Thank you very much, Chair. We considered this application at our meeting of 16th of June, and members of the committee were unanimous in that we do not object to the renewal of the licence, but we did object to the use of any size in the window display, and we also felt that the lobby must be set up to prevent passers-by from seeing licensed products. So those were our concerns, to ensure that what can be seen from the pavement is appropriate, and we've heard discussion of that this morning, licensed and non-licensed products. We were mainly concerned about the window display. We recognise that the establishment's run for a number of years and hasn't caused any issues. Be clear that the TV does not display controversial or offensive material. We didn't really want a TV display. Going our policy governing advertisements, that's planning policy ENV 14 in the Weymouth and Portland local plan, that any advertisement associated with the shop front does not visually dominate the individual building or street scene. So really our concern is about the window display TV being inappropriate to the area, which is a welcome to Weymouth area. We respect that. A number of years, it was my discretion, it was much quieter. That's a summary of our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hamilton. Appreciate that. So all parties now will be given the opportunity to sum up their case. So we'll move over to Nick Honeybun, unless councillors want to ask any questions prior to that.
I have no questions for the councillor. I would just want a clarification from Catherine, if I can, regards to just to clarify the condition that is on the licence at present for the doors.
Okay, what would you like clarification, councillor?
Just on how the fact is that the doors are to remain closed. Yes.
Yes. Well, the point on the current condition states that the entrance to the premises shall be designed to construct to prevent persons outside the premises having a view of the interior. And then there's point 34 is doors on opening shall lead to parts of the premises which are not open to the public, should be clearly marked staff only. An external door should be fitted with a device to provide an automatic closure. So there has to be a closure on any doors that are external.
Okay, does that clear it up, Emma?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, Councillor, let's try it. Does that mean that the closure device has to be fitted on the door, but the door can still be open?
Its wording is the external doors to the establishment shall be fitted with a device to provide for their automatic closure, and such devices shall be maintained in a good working order.
So if the device is working on the door, but the door is still trigged open, that's still within the licence conditions.
Yes, because it says will be fitted to provide for their automatic closure. So if they need to be closed, they can do.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Chair, I've got a question for the town council, if that's when that's ready, please.
Yeah, you can do that now.
Thank you. Councillor, the issue of the TV and the screens, you're saying that that's an area that you wouldn't want a TV in, because from my understanding of that area, that's more of a residential area than a tourist area, whereas other parts of the town are very much more touristy. and other areas do have TVs in the windows. So I'm wondering what the differentiation is between that street there and other areas of Weymouth Town Centre.
Thank you for the question. This is on a corner by the railway station where visitors may arrive, and it's set back. It is hidden, but it is a residential area, as you say, and it's a conservation area as well. I just think it needs to be in proportion with our adverts policy, planning policy, which is ENV 14. Any advertisement associated with the shop front does not visually dominate the individual building or street scene. And I would argue, because it's not in amongst other shops, it's going to be more prominent and more impact.
Thank you. Thank you for those comments, and they're appreciated. I'm conscious of what Mr. Honeybun says about the cost of replacing the items on display in the window, and the finance aspect is for him. But I know that Weymouth Town Council and also Dorset Council are very concerned about the environment, and we are aware that the clothing industry is one of the most polluting. So sure, anything that we can do to reduce the manufacture of clothing, as in using pictures and screens to display them, would you not think that's a better way forward?
True, we haven't given that thought as a committee. You could equally argue about the use of power continually to power the display. Is not a good use of resource. Perhaps that power would be better spent on some air conditioning. Employees and visitors.
Thank you for your answers.
Well, thank you for that, Les and Emma. I will have to state, however, that this is a licensing meeting and it's not a planning meeting. So planning considerations are planning considerations, not licensing considerations. So we'll move on to does anybody that want to sum up their case? First, we've got a licenses officer. Are you okay, Catherine?
I have nothing further to add unless anybody else has any questions for me.
Any questions for licensing officer?
No.
No.
None for me.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we'll move on to Mr. Honeybun. Would you like to sum up?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, it's just in response to the last lady. We want to work closely with our local community and the area, really. I'm not, like I said, I'm not out to sort of shock anyone. And as for sort of the first thing you see when you get off the train as a tourist, I mean, I don't know if anyone remembers what the shop looked like when it was Discretion. I've got a picture here, but it's blacked out windows, blacked out door, and it looks, to be honest, to me, to be quite imposing and not very welcoming at all. What it is now is a bright and vibrant, modern looking shop, which I would argue is an asset to the city, really, or to the town. And we've had I've complained quite a lot as well about, I know this is probably more of a planning thing than a license thing, but there's always a lot of drunks, there's a lot of trouble with the local area, with the, there's a phone box outside as well, and we're always trying to move these people on and trying to help the police when we report them, to try and clean up the area, if anything. So I just want to say, we're trying to work with you, not against you, but thank you.
Thank you. Councillor, any questions for Mr. Honeybun after summing up? Yes, we've got two, so we'll go to Les Fry first and then Emma.
Mr. Honeybun, thank you for that. The TV screens, do you have what are your plans for having them switched on and using them? I'm very conscious of the town councillor and the implications and impact on the environment and the community. What are your thoughts on operating times for having it on?
Well, it'll probably be the same as our lighting. So, and again, I'm happy to work with anyone who's, I'm not going to argue with anyone, but maybe 10 o'clock at night, we've got an automatic power thing that just switches all the lights off at night, and then they won't come on again until maybe 9 in the morning. And we won't be using them all year round anyway, because especially in the summer, the glare, you can't really see the screens very well anyway. It was just so I've got an opportunity to use them probably more in the winter months when it works really. But yes, yeah, probably 9 in the morning till 10 at night, I expect.
So is that your opening hours, 9 in the morning to 10 at night, or?
No, we open from 10 till 7, and then Sundays 10 till 3 or 4, I think, in Weymouth.
Okay, thank you. That answers my questions.
Sorry, Councillor Parker.
Councillor Fry completely read my mind, so I have no questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now going to the representation, Councillor Hamilton. Any summing up?
Thank you, Chair. I'm here really to represent the committee, and the committee objected to TV display size in the window, and to passers-by being able to see light items within the store. We did take advice and soundings from the team, and we welcome the shop in town. It's just got to be marketing to improve the welcoming area around the train station. We're going to be investing, and we'll be happy to work with the store to make sure there's a balance in the street scene.
Thank you very much.
Planning matters there.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Councillor. Appreciate that summing up. Any questions from either of the councillors?
No, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
That's fine then. So finally, I'll move to our legal representative to make sure that everything's been in order and all things have been covered.
Thank you, Councillor Andrews. The only point I was going to make is in the variation of condition 29, it refers to the opening of the front internal door. So this is only the internal door. This is not the external door to be open as well. Just wanted to clarify that is what was wanted.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, any questions? No? In that case, we will now retire to our little virtual room, and we'll leave this meeting. Who sets up the other meeting? Is that you, Helen, or
yes,
Elaine?
it is me.
Right.
It is me.
So we need our retirement meeting, and the decision of the licence subcommittee shall be communicated to the parties and made available on the council's website as soon as practically possible. So we will now call this meeting to a close. We will retire into our virtual room and discuss the representations and the application as soon as we can, and that will be immediately after this meeting. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody for taking part. I do appreciate it. And we will let you know of our decision. It has to be mandatory within 5 days in writing, I do believe.
5 working days, yeah.
5 working days. But we will no doubt email it out to the recipients as soon as we can. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.